Oke, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to our Comlit podcast. Okay, my name is Afnia as the moderator of podcast today, and I'm very happy to have you guys with us today. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about the representation of women in popular culture that focusing on one of the most iconic female superheroes. That is Wonder Woman.
Yes, right.
Okay, Wonder Woman is often celebrated as a symbol of female strength, empowerment, courage, and independence. She appears to challenge the traditional image of woman that is weak, passive, or dependent. But behind this empowerment, that essential critical question emerged: that does Wonder Woman truly represent woman as free and autonomous subject, or does she remain perhaps subtly shaped by patriarchal social construction? And to explore this question, we will use an existentialist feminist approach from Simone de Beauvoir. Okay, and today I'm joined by two speakers. One will focus on Wonder Woman movie in 2017, and the other one will focus on Wonder Woman in DC Comics. So, guys, please you introduce yourself first, maybe before we dive into the conversation.
Okay. So hello guys, I'm Eka Melina Olivia. So I'm as the speaker film. And hello guys, I'm Shara Sati. I'm the one who talking about the Wonder Woman on DC Comics.
Okay, hello Sierra and Ika.
Hello.
Okay, and then we will move back and forth between the film and the comics to see how feminism operates different across media. Okay, before we dive into the film and comic analysis, let's briefly discuss the theoretical framework guiding our discussion. That is, Simone de Beauvoir famously stated, "One is not born, but rather becomes a woman."
Yeah.
Do you guys ever hear that statement?
I heard it maybe a few days ago.
Okay, and then this statement implies that womanhood is not a natural or biological destiny, but a social construction shaped by culture, ideology, norms, and importantly, media representation. Beauvoir also introduced the concept of the other, woman as the other, that in patriarchal society, men are positioned as the subject, the center of meaning, action, and authority, while women are positioned as the other. While men are subject, and then women as the other, defined in relation to men. From this perspective, the media does not simply reflect reality, it actively shapes how women understand themselves and how society understands women. So, throughout this episode, we will ask that, is Wonder Woman portrayed as a subject with freedom and agency? Or does she only appear progressive while remaining constrained by patriarchal expectation? Okay, let's begin with the film version.
Okay. So in the 2017 film A Wonder Woman, Diana is currently positioned as the central subject of the story. So she's not a supporting character whose main role is to motivate or assist a male hero. Inside, the entire narrative resolved around her journey, her decisions, and her moral development. So Diana chose to leave Themyscira, enter the human world, and confront Ares is not forced upon her. This action emerges from her own essential awareness and personal sense of responsibility. So, from Simone de Beauvoir, existentialist feminism perspective, this is significant. Diana begins to move away from the position of the others. So she acts, chooses, and defines herself. Her relationship with Steph Trevor is meaningful, but it does not fully define her identity. Even after Steph dead, Diana continued her missions. So this suggests that her existence and purpose do not depend on male um, figure, but on her own values.
Oh, I see. That's so interesting. That, especially considering how often female characters disappear or lose direction after the male character is gone, but Diana is not. Before we move further, I'd like to connect this with the comic version. In the comic, does Wonder Woman enjoy the same level of narrative independence, or does her agency function differently?
Okay, let's talk about the comic version, okay? So in the DC Comics, Wonder Woman is also narratively powerful. It is. And she's depicted as brave, intelligent, and physically strong, and often standing equal to or even above male superheroes too. And however, when we shift our focus from narrative to visual representation, significant problems emerge. Wonder Woman's body is frequently objectified through revealing costume, exaggerated proportion, and sexual poses. Yeah, that's something that mm, not important. And from the Simon de Beauvoir perspective, this visual framing places Diana back into the position of the other. Her body becomes something to be looked at rather than a medium through which she expresses her subjectivity. And this is reflect that influence of the male gaze, of course, which has historically dominated the comic industry. Commercial interests often prioritize visual pleasure over feminist meaning.
So even when the story says that she's powerful, the visual may undermine the message. Yeah, right. That's right. Okay, let's return to the film for a moment.
Okay, another important aspect of the 2017 film Diana Moral consciousness. So Diana does not act because she's ordered to do so by men or institutions. She acts because she personally believe in justice, compassion, and the values of human life. So even after realizing that humanity is flawed, violence, and moral complex, he chose to protect it. From existentialist perspective, this is a choice is crucial. Existence, according to existentialism, is defined by one freedom to choose and to create a meaning. So, however, the film also idealizes Diana. She's a protect. She's a portrayed as almost moral, pure compassionate sense and rarely conflicts. This is idealism sickly limits her existential depth.
Okay, so her freedom is present, but it is packaged in a way that feels emotionally safe for mainstream audiences. Okay, does this kind of idealization also appear in the comics, Miss Sarah?
Okay, yes, of course, and perhaps even more strongly in a different way, yeah. Wonder Woman was originally created with feminist intention. She was meant to represent peace, equality, and female strength. And however, over time, this intention often clash with how her body and identity are visually presented. She's powerful narrative, yet visually constrained by expectation or desirability. In Simon de Beauvoir framework, these contradictions show how difficult it is for women to exist fully as a subject in a media. And women's powers acknowledged, but only if it remains visually pleasing and commercially attractive.
Okay, that suggests feminism is in popular culture is often negotiated rather than fully realized. That okay, now let's talk about the body more specifically. That in visual representation and the female body of Wonder Woman herself. From film seeker first, maybe.
Okay, also the film is narratively progressive. Uh, it's visually representation still divert critic. Diana so comfort to dominant Hollywood beauty standard. She is a tall, athletic, conventionally attractive, and psychically ideal. From Simone de Beauvoir perspective, this is so that women, even as heroes, are still shaped by social expansion. So, however, compared to money comic portrait, this film is a reality essential. The camera affords sexualization and focus more the action, emotion, and role in the story.
Okay, so if the film doesn't completely escape beauty standards, but it makes a conscious effort to shift the focus away from the body. So, and how does this compare to comics historically?
Uh, uh, Let me think first. Sorry. Oh, yeah. In comics, Wonder Woman's body is often treated as a commodity. Yeah, her custom design frequently emphasize exposure rather than practically. Action poses are exaggerated to highlight sexually rather than a strength. And from existentialist feminist perspective, this reduces her to an object to the consumption public. Rather than expressing her freedom through action, her body is framed as something owned by the audience gaze.
No. So even when she fight for justice, her body remains under symbolic control. Yeah, that's right. Let's look at the broader social impact that feminism and social impact in the Wonder Woman film.
Okay, the film had a significant cultural impact, so isn't a clear message a woman can be leaders or warriors and moral agents. For many female viewers, this representation was empowering. However, it also creates a new expectation. Women are encouraged to be strong, independent, and still physically attractive, according to Simone de Beauvoir. This means woman freedom is still conditional.
Okay, so it's mean that feminism in media bring progress, but also new forms of pressure. Okay. Now when we compare the film and the comics, we see a clear contrast. The film in 2017 moves closer to portraying Wonder Woman as an autonomous moral subject. Meanwhile, the comics often struggle to balance feminist ideals with commercial and patriarchal demands. But version remind us that representation is not static, it evolves, but it also resists change. Before we move to the conclusion, I'd like to open one more layer of discussion. So far, we've talked about representation from the perspective of narrative, visual, and theory. But representation doesn't exist in a vacuum. It interacts with audiences, expectation, and cultural context. From an existentialist feminist perspective, how important is the role of the audience in giving meaning to Wonder Woman as a feminist icon? From the film speaker perspective.
I think audience representation is crucial. In the 2017 film, many viewers, especially women, identified strongly with Diana. She is not portrayed as cynical or emotionally detached. Instead, she is empathic, cautious, and emotional expressive. So, from Simone de Beauvoir perspective, this is emotional openness is important. Women are often stereotyped as emotional in a way that diminishes their rationally. However, Diana emotion to weaken her agency. The causes with her strength and moral clarity. So this allow female audience to see emotion not as a limitation but as part of subjectivity.
Okay, so the film reframes emotion that highlight the emotion as a source of ethical action rather than a sign of weakness. So how does this compare to emotional repression in the comics?
In the comic, it's maybe it's the same thing with the film one. In many comic iteration, Wonder Woman is emotionally restrained or idealist. Yeah, she often appears calm, controlled, and distant, almost statue-like. White, while this reinforces her image as a powerful, it can also strip away her emotional subjectivity. From an existentialist feminist lens, this is problematic. If women are represented only as perfect symbol, they lose their lived complexity. They become ideals rather than individuals. This again places Wonder Woman closer to the other, an image to be admired, not a subject to relate it to.
God, this is so interesting, I think, because it suggests that emotional depth is part of feminist representation, not a distraction from. Let's move into the question of choice and destiny. Uh, this is destiny versus existential feminist freedom in film, maybe, Sister Eka.
Okay. Also, the film emphasizes Diana chose. It also introduces the idea of destiny. She is revealed to be the daughter of Zeus, destined to defeat Ares. This creates tension between existential freedom and predetermined purpose. From Simone de Beauvoir perspective, true freedom requires strengthening imposed rules. And if a Diana heroes is framed as identity, her existentialist agency becomes sickly limited. However, the film balances this by emphasis that Diana chose to act even after learning the truth.
So destiny still exists, but choice still matters in this film. Does in the comic version rely more heavily on destiny or mythological rules?
I think it's yes. It's and the comics often rely more strongly on mythological destiny. Yeah, and the more the mythological. And the Wonder Woman is frequently defined by her origin as an Amazon, a goddess, or a symbolic figure of peace. While this gives her grandeur, it can also fix her identity. From Beaufort perfect perspective, this limits existential becoming. Instead of continuously creating herself through choices, Diana is often locked into a predefined essence.
Which brings us back to Beauvoir ideas that essence should not preclude existence. Let's talk about power relation next in film. In film, that power relation that there is certain power without domination in the Wonder Woman film. How about that?
Okay, in maybe in the film, is Diana power is not based of domination. She does not seek control over others. Inside her strength is expressed through protection, sacrifice, and moral responsibility. So this alike with feminism critique of traditional masculine coded power from an existentialist feminism view. Diana represents an alternative model of power, one that does not request the subjection of other.
Okay, that is a powerful contrast to many male superheroes that exist. How does this compare with power dynamics in the comics?
Okay, we back to the comic. So in the comic itself, power is often displayed as spectacle, battle or exaggerate, but these are hyper visible, and strength is visually dramatized. Of course, it is in comic. While this makes the comics exciting, of course, it also turns power into something to be consumed visually. And from the Simon before, framework, this spectacle risks turning Diana into an object again, something to be watched rather than a subject acting freely.
So power can empower, but it can also objectify, depending on how it's framed. Let's move to one final reflective comparison before we conclude that Wonder Woman exists in a specific cultural moment. The 2017 film emerged alongside renewed feminist movement and a conversation about gender equality in the time. How do you think this context influenced the film portrayal, Sister Eka?
Okay, the film so reflect contemporary feminism, focus on visibility and representation. It saw a woman the desert space at the center of a narrative. So, however, representation alone is not liberation, as Biafra remains as a freedom request structure change, not just symbolic heroism.
Okay, maybe we can hear from the comic perspective too.
And the comic itself revealed that limits of feminist representation within commercial system. They show how easily feminist message can be deleted when market logic dominates. And this tension reminds us that feminism in popular culture is always something can be negotiation.
Hmm. Okay, in conclusion, Wonder Woman, both in film and in comics, demonstrates meaningful progress in the representation of women, while also repelling ongoing limitation. Through Simone de Beauvoir, existentialist feminist perspective, we learn that representation is never neutral. Wonder Woman invites us to celebrate female strength, but also to question the condition under which that strength is allowed to appear. So we return to our central question: are women truly represented as free subject, or they still positioned as the other in more subtle, modern, and social acceptable forms? Okay, maybe we don't know. Let's just give the commentary maybe in the comment section
Comment, guys.
about how your perspective about that question.
Maybe we can discuss more about
Yes.
Wonder Woman if you comment. Okay.
Actually, for the woman in the outside,
Yeah.
you can freely give the commentary on the comment section, and then we have end today our conversation.
Okay.
Thank you to our speakers and to everyone who has been listening to this podcast, and see you in the next episode. Bye. Bye.
But actually, this is really nice. I want to do it again.
Yeah.
Maybe we can talk about.
We have to acting in the face.
Yeah, I know. And so the podcast is so I think so funny. Yeah, it's good. It's good. I mean, it's interesting way to express our thinking about something in this world.
Something new.
Yeah, about feminism, about psychological, or something that public representation or public want to know.
My question is, do you guys feel nervous?
I did. I did.
You nervous?
Yes, I did. I did. Yes.
I'm still shaking too.
Oh my god. Why are you shaking?
But I'm not nervous today.
Oh.
I don't know.
So you really happy?
Maybe because the speaker is you guys.
Oh my god.
So I just.
That's really nice. Oh my god. Lupa.